to another Firearm Freedom YouTube live stream. YouTube seems to have updated the way that they do these live streams, so hopefully everything comes through properly, everything's looking good, sounding good. You guys know the deal. Just let me know down in the live chat if something's not sounding right. This is going to be another live stream just tackling the absolute nightmare that the brace situation has been over the past about week and a half since I made the last live stream, maybe a little bit less. And there have been a lot of updates, a lot of misinformation, and I'm going to try to touch on as much of that as I can in this video, and we will go from there. But when it comes to the background in tonight's live stream, unfortunately, which you guys may hear right there, there you go, is the sump pump in the area that I'm in. So I don't have another choice. I got to do it tonight here, and you guys are just going to hear that occasionally kick on. It's been a hell of a crappy weather going on here in Pennsylvania recently, so that's just, it is what it is. There's going to be a little bit of background noise occasionally. Hopefully it's not too obnoxious. While we're letting people come in, and before we touch on a lot of the points that have been updated with the brace situation, I did want to take a small moment to tell you guys that with the new update for YouTube and these live streams, I was able to actually easily post down in the description right now a link to my Rumble page. So all the links are down there, but the important one is for the Rumble page. Guys, I am full bore now on Rumble. We kind of don't know the future, the potential future here on YouTube for gun content. My channel received a strike. Many other channels have received a strike. And because of that, I decided to start uploading daily to Rumble. A lot of folks on Instagram were asking, hey, where is the dissipator video? Where is this video? Where is that video? I was looking for it. A lot of those videos, unfortunately, had to get deleted here on YouTube. Now, here's the deal, guys. I hate pushing things hard on you because that's just not the type of channel that this is. I've always just been kind of like, hey, if you click it, great. If you don't, great. But when it comes to this, a lot of folks out there in the YouTube world will rant all day long in the comment section about how much they hate YouTube, on why gun content creators are still on YouTube. Why do I support YouTube, right, by being here? The reality of it is a lot of you guys are not over on platforms like Rumble. You know, I got about 34,000 people that I can connect with here on YouTube. I currently have 27 over on Rumble. The 27 of you that have gone over there, you guys are incredible, and I really appreciate it, but it's free. It's a free service. I am not partnered with Rumble. This is just where it's going to probably go in the future. So right now I have actually a video scheduled out daily for about the next month. It's already scheduled, so every evening at 6:30 p.m. a video is going to drop on my Rumble account, and they are all of my most recent videos. Some of those videos have been deleted from YouTube, and they are live on Rumble. So I'd really appreciate the follow over there. They also have an app. It seems pretty streamlined so far. And if you have differing opinions, I'd love it if you guys go over there, because it's a little bit of an echo chamber right now, and I love YouTube for just, you know, being able to expand that out of the echo chamber. So if we can make that with Rumble, we might have something there. So who knows? But if something happens with my channel, rant complete, it's going to be over there. You guys are going to be able to hear it first over there, and it's important to be able to see that. So, you know, it is what it is. Man, I've had quite the week, I'll be honest with you guys, of phone calls about braces, of people stopping in about braces. I work full-time as a manager at a gun shop, and it has been an interesting time. A lot of people are concerned. A lot of people are scared. A lot of people really don't know what the hell is going on. And I'm going to try to stay as level-headed as possible in this live stream and be as informative as possible. But it's important for me to mention the fact that a lot of these things currently are probably going to change. In the past week, we have seen the ATF come out and change things that they put on their FAQ page. We have seen them come out and completely almost reverse 180 in certain aspects. So something that I'm saying here may change, but I have a lot of gripes currently. I feel like this is slightly off-centered and my OCD is driving me nuts, but we're going to send it. It's a live stream. It is what it is. And I also have some notes actually written down that I would like to go over. But I think the first issue that I want to target is the lack of care, the lack of knowledge, and the lack of understanding in the gun content creation community over the past week. In fact, it's almost disgusting. I am starting to equate this gun YouTube community to mass media, and that is very disappointing to see. We're seeing platforms, as I've talked about in my last live stream, with hundreds of thousands of loyal people ready and willing to listen to what these individuals have to say. They trust what these individuals have to say, and they tune in reliably for information, because mainstream media has obviously long ago did us dirty in that aspect, right? We can't go to mainstream media anymore because there is no information on mainstream media anymore. So you have these people, and they have a following, and a lot of the time it's good information. But unfortunately, sometimes when it's bad information, I see a lot of channels trying to capitalize off of that bad information. And what it does is it creates this massive vortex of bad, right? But it gets them views. So that's why it's so frustrating. That's why I get so ranting up about it, because they ruin the community with it, but they don't care because it gets their channel views, good or bad. They're profiting, just like the mainstream media, off of a catastrophe, which is what this Brace debacle is. Okay? So that sucks to see. And it's really been bad this past week. I have not seen in my life in the industry more inaccurate comments in a video, multiple videos. I'm not even calling out one person. I'm saying multiple videos of supposed firearms attorneys talking about things that very obviously they know a very limited amount of information about. Why do I say that? Well, because a lot of this information that's being spouted off in small little comments here or there can be immediately disproved by anybody that has actually gone through a Form 4 or Form 1 process before. So it's painfully obvious to see somebody that's a quote-unquote attorney or is supposedly knowledgeable about this just because they're at SHOT Show, and they're spouting little things off in their video that are not factually correct. I've heard things like Form 1s currently, like for instance, a small comment in videos. I'm not going to call any names out because a lot of these people put out really good work. I just have gripes with these certain videos that are surfacing. I've heard comments like, well, we all know that a regular E-Form 1 takes 9 months, 10 months. Not correct. Currently, E-Form 1s take, or before this, were taking 10 to 20 days, roughly, for the most part, for an E-Form 1. So it's like, that right there, that small comment, it seems very little and insignificant to most people, which is why most people just pass it right over in the video. But to me, that screams, okay, how far off are you on your knowledge and information that you're now currently talking to 500,000 people and you aren't even up to date enough to know that a current Form 1 processing time is not 9 or 10 months, but it's roughly 25 days. So little things like that are driving me absolutely insane, because what it's doing is it's taking the worry and the information off of the things with this that people should be worried about, and it's distracting them to things that don't matter, are not factually correct, and don't make any sense. And people just have no idea what to do. How do I know this? Because in the past week, I've probably received, at the shop that I work at, we probably received well over 300 phone calls at least about this very topic. And trust me, it's beginning to burn me out a little bit. So let's target one of the biggest things that I've seen misrepresented about this whole debacle on the gun community to absolutely scavenge the community, whatever's left of this community, for views and profit. That would be 88 days, right? We've heard a lot about the 88-day trap, the 88-day open background check. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys on why this has been taken in the complete wrong direction by gun tubers. So when it comes to 88-day open background check denials, right, a lot of these channels are insinuating that, and this is what, and I know this because I've done Form 4s with a lot of people who've never done Form 4s that are buying their first suppressor, and this is their assumption. Man, why does the background check take 7 to 8 months? Why does the background check take 6 months? Why does the background check take 13 months? It is a common misconception by somebody that has never seen or been through the process whatsoever. So when all of these channels are saying, hey, look, if your background check is open for 88 days, everyone's going to get denied, because obviously they're not going to get these checks through within 88 days. Obviously, the entire process for 10 million people is not going to go through in 88 days, right? So here's where that's completely wrong as far as a mindset, and why there's many other things in this that you should be worried about, but that does not make sense. The actual background check that they are running on you is the same background check that is ran in any gun shop across all 50 states, whether it's ran by the FBI or it's ran by the ATF. It's essentially the same NICS background check that takes roughly 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. The entire process, this is what should frustrate everybody about the NFA, and it is what frustrates people when I tell them this when they're buying their first suppressor. The entire 9 to 10 month process is just waiting to get to somebody's desk. That's the process. So it shows me how inexperienced somebody is when they're insinuating that the entirety of the process is the background check. The background check is the very, very, very end after it has been shitting on somebody's desk for the past 9 months for them waiting to figure out what's going on with it. As they take their sweet time after we have paid money for an item that we should be able to walk out of the gun store with that day, it has just been sitting on somebody's desk for 9 months. They pick up the paperwork, they put your information in, and the process, the ATF has even said this before, the process takes roughly 10 to 15 minutes. Now, there are very, 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 very rare occasions that background check process that takes 10 to 15 minutes will be open, right? I have been doing this for almost a decade, and I have seen it 5 or 6 times where some forms will get returned, denied due to an open FBI NICS background check. Now, what should worry everybody is that the amount of those times has been heightened more recently for no reason. I'm talking somebody, multiple people that have been approved 10 times over for all other NFA items, right? So 10 times over for their NFA items. They've gotten approved for Form 1s, they've gotten approved for Form 4s, and then all of a sudden they get denied due to an open FBI background check or an open NICS background check, essentially. So it's because they're typing in the information incorrectly. Right? I saw a comment pop up probably by Sam there that's saying it's because they're contracting all these things out. Exactly. They're contracting to people that maybe should not be doing this because they are messing up the information. But regardless, that's a big deal. That's a big problem. But it's still incredibly rare that open background check is going to happen. It's incredibly rare. Okay? So that's thing number one that has been driving me insane insane over the past week. Because here's what's going on, and here's why you're being misled by this community. Somebody races to the starting line of being the very, very first video out because they think they've stumbled on a gold mine of views and monetizing money from that video, right? Monetizing the views from that video. So throw any understanding of this. It doesn't matter that the person has never filed a Form 1, has never filed a Form 4, really has no clue what they're talking about, and probably has misinformation. None of that matters because you're going to click on that video. I clicked on the video because I'm trying to figure out what the new information is. The ATF is not telling us the information. The news is not telling us the information. So these are the only people that we have that are at SHOT Show. Apparently that makes them, just because we're at SHOT Show, we're qualified to talk about all of these things to hundreds of thousands of people. So through the whole week, we have been told that 88-day open background checks and that everyone that files a form is going to get denied because of the 88-day thing. That's at that point, I'm not saying that this is not a trap, because it is probably a trap. What I'm telling you is that is almost a completely fabricated piece of information that somebody pulled from a document that they don't fully understand. So throw the 88-day thing, just throw that out of your mindset completely, because that's what it actually is. And it is rare. It can happen, and in this case, if it does happen, as the ATF said, punishable things would be going on in your life at that point legally, right? That's enforcement actions will be taken if the 88-day thing happens, but it's incredibly rare. Now, what are things to actually worry about in this free Form 1 filing, right? Things to actually worry about. No one has touched on this one. What happens if your form gets disapproved, not due to a background check, due to clerical error on the form? What happens? Will enforcement action be taken? That would have been the question that I would have loved to have somebody ask the ATF that day, not the 88-day open background check thing that affects literally like 0.004% of the people that are filing. But I'm talking about the thing that happens like maybe 60% of the time that people file. This is a relatively straightforward process, but the ATF, I don't know if it's purposeful or just stupid and ignorant, and either one could be completely accurate or a little bit of both, leave in little pitfalls throughout the Form 1 that somebody that's inexperienced with the form could actually fall into. I've been using this example all week, and I will use it here now. And I've used it before on other live streams as a perfect example of the pitfall, right? You're going through the Form 1 process. You have a Daniel Defense Mark 18. It's a Mark 18 pistol. It falls under this supposed free stamp. You have an adjustable brace on it. You're going through the free Form 1 process. You get to the spot that says input your firearm information, right? So you put in the manufacturer. Cool. It says model, right? There's a little drop-down menu. You hit the drop-down menu. You would think that the options in the drop-down menu are okay because they're in the drop-down menu. There's where you're wrong. There's probably about 6 or 7 options in that drop-down menu, right, for what you're looking for, but only one of them is correct, right? That's the problem. It has been implemented like 5 different ways by people messing them up in the past, and the ATF leaves them in the drop-down menu. Now, think carefully, and hopefully you know, because only one of them is right? So take the Daniel Defense Mark 18, for example. You're supposed to go off of what it says on the gun. Well, really easy one to mess up because on the upper receiver, it says Mark 18. So a lot of people would say, hey, it says Mark 18 there, and they go in the drop-down menu, and oh, lo and behold, Mark 18 right there, MK18, perfect, I'm going to choose that, I'm going to go on my way. Well, you would have just been disapproved on your form after the waiting process, which almost most certainly will go past the 120-day page, or 120-day period. So what was the correct answer? DDM4, what it says exactly on the lower receiver. How many people do you think that have never done this NFA process before will fall victim to that very, very easy to mistake issue, right? That happens all of the time. All of the time. I do so many of these NFA transfers at the shop that I work at. It is unbelievable. Every employee with me at the shop that I work at, all of my coworkers, we have done probably more NFA transfers, unfortunately, because this should not exist in the first place, than a lot of other shops out there, I'm telling you. So I have seen this happen time and time and time again. It is so easy to do. Another one that we see very frequently is any of the spots where you can input in, where you can actually type in information, you type in the wrong thing. You fat finger a key, your county is forgotten because their system likes to add in your county, and then when you go in, it's not there for whatever reason, and you have to log back into your personal account and then re-put in the county, and then all of a sudden it's there. That's a pitfall that happens all the time. You spell information improperly in there, and then it gets declined. Right? It is not disapproved due to an open background check. It's disapproved due to other issues on the form. What happens then? What happens to that individual that is now disapproved? Do they get a letter in the mail saying they have to destroy the pistol? Does the ATF go to their door and not arrest them but say, hey, you need to give us the gun or we're going to arrest you? Or does the ATF arrest you? We really don't know. We have absolutely no idea how they would enforce that option. So that is a question that I think collectively, as a whole, with all of the genius firearms attorneys out there that, are just gospels of knowledge when it comes to this situation, because I've been hearing them preach about it every goddamn day on this platform, might ask, because it has not been addressed. I've watched almost every video I could find on this topic, and not a single person decided to ask that question that is very important. A lot more people are going to run into that than they will an 88-day open background check with the ATF. So that's a big problem. That's something that needs to be addressed, and that's something that needs to be figured out. Now, we've already found out today that the imported pistol situation is okay now. Apparently, the ATF is backing up and saying, hey, you can register said gun on the free Form 1, and we won't take enforcement action on you or push 922R. They're figuring out very quickly all of the issues that are in this pile here, right? Now, before we knew any of this and before we really started going down this road, I said if you already have NFA items and you already are in the suppressor world, right? You're already on a Form 4 for a suppressor and you have a pistol that may be affected by this, I would, keep it Form 1 it. I was still up in the air about the last live stream on what the recommendation would be for the tax-exempt option, right? Because, again, I didn't know at the time what is going on, right? Now, at this point, I would not recommend in any way, shape, or form anybody out there to do the tax-exempt option. If you want to Form 1 your firearm, go the route of just the $200 standard Form 1 check, because there is so much about the tax-exempt option that we truly have absolutely no idea. I have seen now a few go through the process right there in front of my face, and they do not require photos currently to complete the tax-exempt Form 1. There are no photos required currently. In the very beginning, it says we may require photos and other documentation to complete the process at a later time. They don't say when they're going to require that. They don't say how. They don't say if they ever will require that. So there's a few different options there. This has only been live for about a week and a half, so we don't know if a month from now, if when they get to process your form 6 or 7 months from now, we have no idea if they will at that point ask for a purchase receipt, ask for photos of the item. We also don't know what will happen if you don't send those photos. If you did go through the tax exempt Form 1, as I know a lot of people out there, probably a lot of folks that are watching this right now did, I'm not a legal advisor. I am not an attorney, but what I would probably say, an opinionated comment of what to do is I would completely disassemble the firearm, not keep it in all the parts under one roof, and just wait it out and see what happens with your approval, right? Because if any sort of enforcement action is taken, if something is disapproved, it would be even harder for them to really nail you with it if nothing is together under the same household. If you do not have the item there. That's just my opinion, and that is my recommendation, opinionated recommendation for the people that already filed the tax exempt. For anyone that didn't, do not go down that road. It is not worth not paying $200, okay? If you're thinking about the option one way or another, the standard Form 1 option is still there. Now, I know everyone out there is going to scream in the comments of, well, I'm not doing anything. That's fine. More power to you. I have made probably over 10 videos talking about my opinions on that and how much I support that. This is not what that video is about. I'm trying to simply clear the air of the absolute mess that the gun community has made, okay, out of this shitstorm that the ATF dropped down everybody only a few days ago. We're about halfway through the live stream, and I'm going to get caught up on everyone's comments here. All right, let's see here. Okay. Yeah, I've had dealers that haven't been able to e-file for a couple weeks now. A lot of dealers are trying to figure this out, as the gun shop that I work at is as well. Scott, good to see you in here. Hey man, been waiting for more to go to Rumble. I'm hoping that a lot of people pick it up. The app's pretty streamlined. You know, it is an echo chamber, but it seems to be a lot better than all the other places that I've tried in the past that have kind of crashed and burned. Thanks so much, guys, for the follows on Rumble. I really appreciate that. Clayco, good to see you in here, buddy. They love making content that scares people. Couldn't agree more. It's sad when the Yankee Marshal is the most reliable source for this brace stuff. He basically called the other channels BS and they came out with wrong info. Yeah, that is sad. With Rumble, do you think there is a possible parlor issue happening? Yes. You know, that can always happen, and I think it probably will in the future, but regardless, it seems to be a semi-better option than YouTube for gun content at the moment. And I should also mention, I'm not going to stop making the content that I do on YouTube. This is going to continue. I still love the way that this all operates. I'm just saying, if YouTube decides tomorrow that they don't want my channel here anymore, or that they make a mass sweeping change with gun things, it would be awesome if you guys didn't have to be like, what's going on? Where's he at? What happened? And it's just all right over there. You're already subscribed to it. You're going to know immediately. Just like gun reviews, GB Guns, good to see you in here, man. It's infuriating when people speak on something they know nothing about, even more so when they make it clickbait to make a buck. Yes, couldn't agree more. It makes me call into question all of their other videos. It does the same with me as well. All right. Point of them bringing up the 88-day thing, the ATF can just do nothing, then deny everyone they want. Then you're in violation of having an item. You are putting too much faith in the ATF. Here's the thing. I don't disagree that this is potentially a trap. My point is with the 88-day thing, they can disapprove the form for many other things than the 88 days. The problem is that the 88-day situation, in my opinion, and this is an opinionated comment, was thrown around a lot because it's clickbait. They're jumping off of other videos. As I said in the beginning of the live stream, there's a lot of other things that they can disapprove these forms for, right, that everyone needs to be worried about, and a lot of those things happen all the time, and most of them are clerical errors that they can disapprove the form for. Can they run an open background check on somebody or not run the background check on somebody at all and then disapprove them? Yeah, of course. Of course, I mean, they can disapprove every single person that does this. Probably, without a doubt. I'm just saying that it's unfortunate to see that they're kind of using the clickbait information to get profit off of the views. That's the thing that I'm having an issue with. All right. The only option is to do nothing and live your life. Anything else is for cowards, period. Keep obeying and continue being the coward responsible for why this country is decayed to what it is. Well, you know, I would say to that comment, and I welcome all comments, good or bad, I would say that a lot of the issue of where we are at right now is nothing being done. And if somebody wants to live their life and just send it full Patriot style, I seriously commend you for doing that. I think that is a phenomenal choice. The only issue is that it does individualize the person down. So what ends up happening is over the years, over the decades, that group grows smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, if everybody collectively does that at the exact same time, it may make a difference. However, what ends up happening is just somebody kind of stays in their own land, their own property, and just hopes that nobody comes knocking on the door. But at the end of the day, there needs to be a community that is organized, that communicates with one another. And if you're talking about any sort of non-compliance, just non-compliance is not enough. It needs to be public, mass non-compliance. Not a little cringy Instagram video or something else or a post. That does nothing. That individualizes the person. You could make the argument about a culture change for sure, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when it's all individualized and, you know, somebody dies and then their problem just transfers to their family after that, and then they have to figure out what to do or how to live that life. Now, I've said it before, if you have ever gotten into the suppress shooting, it's not right, it's not wrong, it's the individual's choice of if they want a factory manufactured suppressor. You're already in it. And at that point, if you have a factory manufactured suppressor that's on a Form 4, this is my opinion that I don't know that there's a difference from 1 item, 2 items, 3 items, or 10 items. You're in it once. It's just as shitty 1 or 10. It's the exact same thing. So the NFA and the ATF as a whole should not exist. The fact that it does exist should show you how far down that rabbit hole we have gotten. This is for protection against tyranny. We live under tyranny. We have lived, this is tyranny. This is happening currently. This is tyranny. It is not a futuristic thing. It's not something that is 100 years down the road or years down the road. This is happening now. We have lived under tyranny for a long time, except they do a very crafty and good job of making you believe that you don't live under tyranny and that you have a choice. My only hope is that this completely destroys the ATF or NFA. It probably will not, because they essentially, at this point, are able to do whatever they want. I've heard a lot of comments of people saying, hey, sorry guys, I've heard a lot of comments from people saying, hey, they can't make laws. They can't do this. They can't make laws and they can't do what they're doing. Congress needs to step in. I completely agree. Problem is, they're just doing it anyways. So that's where people are like, oh, what do you mean? I voted. I wrote my reps. I don't understand what's causing this issue. They can't make law. It's against the law. Well, yeah. And then the ATF is saying, yeah, we know. We're just going to do it anyways. And that's why I'm saying we currently live under tyranny. Right now. It is happening. This is it. And I got news for you, okay? When it comes to the cringy, edgy, throwing the pistol brace off, right, and putting a stock on, I know some of these people, and I know that they have their SOTs and their FFL, okay? So when you're watching a video of some piece of shit influencer, okay, that's trying to tell you that they stick it to the ATF and you should do the same and rah rah, I'm a patriot and I'm against tyrants and just do what I do and I'm gonna do that. They're literally taking a pistol brace off of the most. They follow the law to the fullest possible extent, 10 times more than anyone else does. Okay, they've requested permission 10 times over, and the ATF has okayed them to produce a post-sample machine gun to demonstrate and make money with, and they take a pistol brace off of it and put a stock on it, and then do a mag dump and make it seem like that's not how it is. These are the people in the industry that should be completely ashamed of themselves at this point in time, and that's what we're seeing over and over and over and over again, and that is how far we've fallen. That's why we're in the situation we're in, because it's not actually non-compliance. It's not actually somebody really standing up for what they believe in. It's somebody being edgy to get views in a little electric box that makes them feel good and get money from. So that's the difference of people having courage and having the understanding of what's right and wrong and actually doing something about it, and somebody trying to get views and trying to share things on social media to just make their company a little bit bigger. And that really does not add to the solution to our problem. A list of questions. Well, absolutely. My first question will be, what happens to all the people that get disapproved on a e-form, tax-exempt form due to clerical error? What happens to those people? And at the end of the day, let me lay it out for you in the most realistic way possible. And who I'm laying it out for is the over 300 people that have called in and spoken to the shop that I work at asking these questions. Okay? Option 1 of the potential reality. Everyone files and submits. The 120-day period goes through, and no one gets enforcement action taken on them. The tax-exempt people just get approved or disapproved, and if they get disapproved, nothing happens because they don't have the manpower to do anything about it. Or those people, again, get approved, and that's the end of it, right? The spicy comments stop, and this is the new reality that we have. The other individuals filed $200 Form 1s on the standard system, and that's all she wrote. Maybe a lawsuit happens, and maybe 4 to 5 years down the road, that gets withdrawn, and the ATF changes. Option 1. Option 2, okay, everyone does essentially the same thing, except all the people that get disapproved due to clerical errors on the tax-exempt Form 1 get letters in the mail saying to destroy their items. Right? Hey, we know you have this. We know where you live at. Destroy the item, and that's it. Or they make a stop by the house utilizing state police, right? So all the stupid ass sheriff videos in an elected position of people coming out saying, hey, we're not going to enforce this in our area. That's cool because they're almost never the ones that enforce it anyways. So that's an awesome political sleight of hand that they're pulling on you. They go with the state police. So that's the issue, is that the state police is there. So state police with the ATF go to the houses that get disapproved and request the item to be given to the ATF or risk further issues, right? This is option number 2. The people that still get approved get approved. The potential for lawsuit in the future is still there. Option number 3, same situation, except the people that get disapproved, the ATF gets warrants for those individuals because they are in possession of the illegal item, what they just deemed illegal, and they go door to door on all the people that got disapproved due to open FBI background check or open ATF background check, and disapproved due to clerical errors and not allowed to resubmit. And all of those people get nailed for having what they have. All 3 of those options are incredibly possible. Any one of those things could absolutely happen. From the situation over here that is the least aggressive and violent, right? Of it just, they don't do anything, people get approved or disapproved, and it's essentially not really much is changing here, to it's probably going to be a little bit of a shitstorm up in the air, to it's going down. Any of these 3 things could absolutely happen with the way that this is currently written and the way that it's currently served to us. Now, there are also 2 directions that the ATF could be heading with this. Now, I run a conspiracy theory podcast with my wife, right? We get very into conspiracies, and I am not a fan of government because of that history. And there's a lot of very smart people in government. The ATF is not one of the smart agencies. They do a lot of really messed up stuff over and over and over again, and they consistently are one of the stupidest agencies I have ever seen in my life. And the people that I have spoken to do my job at a gun shop are, again, some of the stupidest people that I have seen because they can't answer a single question about their own goddamn job. So, 2 options that they could be going. This could all be complete stupidity and ignorance because they were told to do something and they will do anything to repress citizens or oppress citizens because that is what they're born to do. Okay? If you work for that agency, you're like, that's what you want to do, right? So anything that they're told to do in that aspect, they're going to do immediately. And they were too stupid of their own laws, ignorant of their own rules, right? That they're supposed to fall under. And they just have no idea what they just did. No clue, right? So they have basic understanding that they probably just screwed some people. But when it comes down to these hard questions that everyone in the gun community is acting, they have absolutely no idea the ramifications of what they just did. Possibility number 1. Possibility number 2, they know exactly what they just did, and this is a massive conspiracy for them to arrest a lot of people. Again, either option is possible. Either option is possible. I'm not even saying that one is better than is more possible than the other. What I'm trying to do is alleviate a lot of the things that are going on in the community right now that just don't even make any sense whatsoever. So those are the 2 realistic possibilities with the ATF. Now, when it comes to, hey, that agency only has 5,400 something agents, they don't have the manpower to do this. That is correct, and that is why the state police licked the shit out of their boots to do anything that the ATF tells them to do. So the biggest issue in every state is not the sheriff's departments, is not the local PD, okay? It is the state police that will absolutely enforce, historically have enforced with the ATF, anything that they want them to do. So that's a big problem. Did I goof for form 4ing my KR 104? If I did help you with that, if because I don't recognize your screen name, I'm sure it was probably fine, but shoot me a DM if you do have a question. Chris, thank you. Okay, now I want to know the conspiracy podcast name. It is Freedom Foil. Freedom Foil, as in tinfoil hat. It is available on all streaming services. Not a ton of video or a ton of episodes coming out now on that, but we're trying to do what we can. It is something we do for fun. It is not a job. It is a hobby me and my wife do. If you guys like conspiracy podcasts, I promise you, you will dig that one. Yeah, it's to stop criminals, I'm sure. This is what all of this is for. Stephen, thank you. In truth, 20 to 50 million people can do whatever they want. They just have to realize it. That's absolutely correct. Here's the thing, though. The gun community is typically the ones that actually enforces the ATF's things, right? It's almost like everyone gets this mindset of like, I have to know what these laws are, and therefore I'm going to police someone else to tell them that they're breaking the law. We might be running out of battery here shortly, guys. They feel that it is upon their... Lost my train of thought due to the low battery. They feel like they are the ones that have to police somebody else on what to do. Happens a lot at ranges, happens a lot at gun shops, right? Because the ATF doesn't even know any of these things. The gun community knows, because we're very concerned about it. We're trying to be law-abiding, which is very ironic in and of itself. When it comes to those things, we police ourselves. We comment on other individuals' videos. It's happened under my videos, talking to me about shouldering a brace or talking about something that I'm doing that violates some minute detail of an ATF ruling that they have no idea even exists, right? This is the overall issue with the community. Now, remember this. Look at how far we've come and where we are at now, and look at how many people are really in charge. How many people are really there to make sure that something's not going wrong, right? And all of those people account to, I don't know, the smallest little fraction of a percent. Yet, here we are. Here we are. We have come to lose everything. To lose everything. And what are we told to do by these gun tubers and other people out there is to continue to write our reps, right? That was my favorite part about these videos, is that this has historically not really done us too much. At the end of the day, you could pull out small, tiny little wins, but at the end of the day, if you look at it from a grand scale, we're still going like this, right? We're still going like this. So I can promise you that the answer to this problem is not writing your reps and donating to the organizations that sponsor the same people that are telling you to write your reps and donate. Okay? So I've said this before many other times. You are being told to play by the rules that the creators of the game don't play by. So when you tell me the only solution is to continue to run around in one little circle and play by the rules that they created to have me chasing my own ass over and over again, I just don't view that as a solution to the problem. Could be wrong, could be right, I don't know. But that is just my opinion, and you guys are always going to get honest and unbiased things on this channel. That has never changed since the very beginning, and it's not going to anytime soon. Let's see here. People need to mind their own business. Absolutely. Guys, if the video dies right now, that is due to a low battery. I thought it was charged up. I had like over 50%, but sometimes, I don't know, maybe these live streams get a little too heated for the battery. So I'm going to start to wrap it up. I don't know if any of that made sense. I don't know if any of this matters at this point, really. I'm sure it's going to get lost in a stream of other YouTube things out there right now. At the end of the day, you need to make your own decision on what is right for you and your family. Take in the information that you can, and unfortunately, if you've never been through the process, it's very difficult to weed through the information that's out there in these videos to figure out what is right, what is wrong, and you can't blame yourself for that. You're trying to find this information, but do what you can to figure out what is BS to get views on their channel and to profit off of you just like mainstream media. Okay? So when it comes to something like this happening, the community realizes that, hey, maybe I'm trying to help a little bit, but a lot of the reason I'm doing this is because it's going to be a vortex funnel of views that I can get because people are nervous and they're scared and they're going to click on this video because I'm going to make them more scared and they're going to click on more of my videos. So this is very, very bad. This is not getting any better. I would not file the tax exempt at all. Do not do that. Do not touch that with a 10-foot pole. If you have personally made the decision to make a Form 1 option on your pistol for whatever reason, right or wrong, take the $200 bath and file the standard Form 1, and that is the safest way to go. Writing our reps has not really done a whole lot of anything other than make them have a crafty little video that's going to wind up in a reel on Instagram of them sounding spicy in some chamber that doesn't fucking matter anymore, and have them just simply spout off something that someone else wrote for them to read and act like they actually give a shit about it. So that's not really helping us too much. And donating to a lot of these things, again, has not really helped too much either. So those are things that I'm going to leave you on to remember. And as I've said a million other times in these live streams, it's about organizing in a community and communicating about what actually works and what doesn't. What will work and what doesn't. I'm not claiming to know what that is. What I'm saying is we've been given the same force-fed, regurgitated thing over and over and over and over again, and I believe it is exactly how we wound up in the situation that we are in currently today. So, with that being said, hopefully this information helps you out. Hopefully it is at least shedding some light to the absolute cluster that this has been over the past week and the confusion that is out there. If anybody's watching this after the fact, didn't get a chance to check out the live chat, throw the comments down below. I will get back to you. And also, we have a Rumble page live. That is live. All those videos from my channel are going to be over there, as well as here. If something happens here, they're going to be there. Thank you guys so much for the support. You guys truly give me the motivation to continue to do this, and I know that it gives me the motivation to speak truly on what I believe in, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. This is me. This is what I believe. So hopefully you guys can enjoy that. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay tuned for more great videos.